Hello, investors and traders, and welcome to the weekly market report. I'm AJ Monte. And before we get into the major market ETFs, I want to talk a little bit about NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA. We followed this one after the earnings announcement yesterday during our midweek report, where Nod and I were looking at the minute-by-minute chart. We talked about how we would most likely see the institutions push this one lower. And lo and behold, what do we have? NVIDIA is down almost 1.5% today. Now you have to keep in mind, this is the #1 market cap stock on planet Earth. There we go. $5.3 trillion of market cap. It's mind-boggling. And with NVIDIA moving lower, we also have another top 10 market cap stock, Walmart, getting smushed right now. It's down over 7%. You can see here 7.23% to be exact. Now, Walmart being one of the, I think it's within the top 8 largest market cap stocks, just under $1 trillion. You can see Walmart is gapping down. Now, I think this is leaning into the down day that we're seeing here today in the Dow. We're down about 100 points as I record this. Now, remember, I'm recording this as the market is open on this Thursday, May 21st, to give you a little bit of an advantage so that you have the rest of today to take action if you think you need to take action on any trades, and of course, the entire day tomorrow to be doing that. So we're seeing a gap down. And I do believe that Walmart, you're going to see some support down here. So I would not be surprised if we go a little bit lower tomorrow and then maybe start to bounce. But in the meantime, like I said, this is putting pressure on the market. So going back to DIA, you can see that I still have my downside target here, right there. We have a spinning top, which is a sign of more or less indecision. It's more of a neutral condition there, and we had a gap fill yesterday right there. Now, if you're following my gap fill rules, you'll know that 80% of the time gaps fill, but after the gaps fill, 80% of the time we generally get prices reversing because many traders use those gaps as price targets. So if they buy on this spinning top here, they're going to start taking profits at the gap fill, so they're making money on this little move in the market. They're not investors, they're traders. So we still have an open gap below the market down here from April that is still going to act as a price magnet, hence the reason why I'm keeping that downside target. Now, in the midweek report yesterday, I was leaning more towards the upside to see whether or not we would get any kind of a push, but we're not really seeing any excitement. We're seeing more or less a channeling effect on the general markets as a whole. So I am going to keep that downside target on DIA at 489.12, moving right along to IWM. We did hit the downside target on that one. We did that quite nicely, and then we reversed. Now, keeping an eye on that gap above the market right here. Can you see that? I'll magnify that for you. That gap would be filled at 281.96. That's the low for that day on that candle. So 281.96. We're currently trading 280 and change. So I think we could see a little bit of a move higher on IWM to fill the gap, but then right back down. So what I'm going to do for you here is just do a little bit of a two-parter, up to fill the gap and then right back down. We're probably going to stay in this price channel for a little while. So this doesn't excite the long-term investors all that much, but I got to tell you, when you're an option trader and you see a stock that's in a trading range, that's just money in the bank, because there's so many different things you could do. You could sell strangles, you could sell iron condors, you could basically do covered calls, you could do cash secured puts. There's so many different things you could do to take in the money. And if you've never traded an option in your life, come on over and plug in for our free trial so we can get you into the Sticky Trades University, where we have online training that you could go through at your own pace. You know, whether you're working a job, running a business, it doesn't matter if you're retired or a busy parent, you'll be able to find time coming through our university. And it's very, very comfortable, and you could pace yourself, like I said before. So just to give the two-part forecast on this one again, slight upside target to fill that gap at 281.96, and then right back down to 275.86. So that's my forecast on IWM. QQQ, again, tech heavy, following the NASDAQ market right there. You don't have a whole lot of excitement. In fact, looking down below, you've got a drop in volume on the way up. What does a drop in volume mean on the way up? It means that the buyers are losing momentum. Remember that little diagram that I posted many weeks ago, and I continue to reference this. When the volume is dropping on the way up, that tends to be bearish. If the volume was increasing on the way up, that would be bullish, but we're just not seeing that right now. And as a result of the drop in volume, you could see that the CCI down below is right at neutral. I mean, it's stuck there just going nowhere except sideways. So I will keep my downside target on the Qs as well. Might take a little while, but we're still keeping that 677.41. Now, we had a comment come in from the midweek report, more or less questioning my long-term outlook versus my short-term outlook. I'm going to be nice about this because I say this so many times, and it seems like people only want to hear one thing, right? My long-term outlook is bearish. I mean, you could take any stock. I mean, look at some of these stocks. Look at MU, for instance. Look at Micron, and you look at the monthly chart on that thing. Look at that. See, folks, this is why long-term I'm bearish, because stocks that go vertical in their price action, that's unsustainable growth. That cannot keep going the way it is at that angle forever. So if you're using simple Fibonacci retracement tools on your chart, right, using mathematical formulas, I'll just do this for you with Micron, and I take that low to that high, you could see Micron drop to 438.44. You know, we're talking, what is that? That's about 45% drop from the high. That's why long-term, I'm bearish. But, again, going back to our option strategies, we are bullish on 73% of our positions. We're bullish. Why? Because the short-term signals have been showing us bullish movement or uptrends that are still beginning to top out, but still intact. You know, until SPY drops below its trend line here, right, or even the moving average, then I have to keep 73% of my positions bullish. Now, as soon as the SPY and other ETFs or indexes start to drop, what are we going to do? We're going to quickly change those bullish positions by making some adjustments and going bearish very, very quickly by adding puts or adding credit call spreads, whatever it may be. We'll add negative delta to our positions when that trend eventually breaks. It hasn't broken yet, so we have to keep our uptrend intact or our bullish stance intact. Right? So if you're just joining us for the first time, or maybe you've only listened to the last 3 reports, understand the difference between long-term view and short-term outlook, and you're going to see your trades much more profitable and successful if you focus on the different time frames of your trends and indications. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there because it's not a question that comes up a lot, but we had another viewer of ours go back and respond to that. You can go back to the midweek report and listen or watch the comments yourself. In fact, I'll put a link in the comment field. I'll put a link to the midweek report pinned to the top of the comments so that you'll be able to go right there and look at that program that we had yesterday from 4 to 4:30. Okay, so SPY. Now, remember, we have a higher low, higher high today on SPY. And last week, you may recall that I was very, very skeptical of putting that, and I even said I'm hesitating. So I put that just that little tiny target up there. So what's happening now is you have SPY caught between a role reversal support here and resistance up here. So it's more or less in a channel, and until it breaks out of the channel either way, I have to just keep these upside and downside targets in there. Now, I'm not speaking out of both sides of my mouth. This is a very short-term target, but once that hits, so I would say the upside target is target number one. Once that hits, I think you'll get a reversal, and then we'll start heading back to this target down here, which again, let me highlight that for you. So the data box comes up of 71751. But right now, we're more or less consolidating, trading in a channel, and there's a lot you could do with an option trade there. Now, let's go to the VIX. And I want to talk about this, and then I want to wrap it up with SPACEX, because I want to talk about the SPACEX IPO. So hold on for that. The VIX is still showing a red candle, and the oscillators are still going down. Now, this VIX is inversely related to the S&P. That's why I'm keeping that shorter term upside target on the SPY, right? Because you've got the support down here on the VIX right here. So we're not far away from a possible bounce, right? Once that bounces, then you'll start to see the movement higher, which, remember, a bullish VIX is bearish for the S&P. So until the VIX breaks out of this trading range, again, we're stuck in this consolidation pattern. So not a bad thing, actually, because we as option traders, we collect our cash from the market by selling premium, and we make money through time decay, which is known as theta in the option markets. And as time continues to decay, we will go ahead and make our money. Now, speaking of time, Monday, we are closed. The markets are closed for the holiday. So we're going to get that time decay over this 3-day weekend. Whether the markets are open or not, we're going to be making money over the weekend because of time decay. Isn't that nice? So hopping right to SPACEX, I don't know if you're following the news here, but the SPACEX IPO filing has been revealed. This is going to take a little time, but I'm going to tell you folks, I think a lot of eyes are looking at this right now, and Elon Musk has a massive audience. He has been posting videos of the rockets taking off and the recovery process. He is more or less talking about interstellar travel, but there's a lot of people that are very fascinated about this. And I think once the IPO comes out, this will, no pun intended, launch to a top 10 market cap stock eventually. Not right away, but I think this one will launch. And I would not be surprised at all if eventually it's added to the S&P or one of the major market indices. I would not be surprised. I'm not getting ahead of myself here. I'm not getting shares on the pink sheets. I'm not involved in the IPO right now. I usually don't do that. But once it's out, I think you're going to see massive amounts of volume. You're going to see option trading galore. And I'm excited to hear about this. In fact, this one IPO could give the entire market a lift. We don't know that yet, but it could. I'm saying that's a could with a big question mark next to that. So stay tuned, watch the news on this one, and we here at Sticky Trades will be tracking that absolutely. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. You're helping our channel grow whenever you make a comment or share that video. We appreciate that so much. We thank you. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you next time. So long.
In a world of endless data, where every second counts, introducing NodLive, your professional compass in the chaos of the stock market. NodLive cuts through the noise. Stay ahead with NodLive.